Many seniors unknowingly engage in a daily habit that gradually weakens their lungs and limits their ability to breathe deeply, which can ripple into poor sleep and low energy. This hidden habit is shallow breathing, often developed over years of sitting for long periods, slouching, and relying mostly on the upper chest instead of the diaphragm. As people age, their posture tends to round forward, their rib cage becomes stiffer, and their lung tissues lose some elasticity. This makes it easier for shallow breathing to become the default pattern, where only the top part of the lungs is used, while the lower sections remain underutilized. When this happens, less oxygen reaches the bloodstream with each breath, and the body gets stuck in a subtle state of stress, releasing stress hormones that further disrupt sleep cycles and prevent the deep relaxation needed for restorative rest. Shallow breathing also increases carbon dioxide buildup, which can make breathing feel more labored, especially at night when lying down, creating a sense of breathlessness that wakes seniors from sleep or prevents them from falling asleep easily. Over time, the muscles responsible for deep breathing, especially the diaphragm and intercostal muscles between the ribs, become weaker from disuse, which only deepens the cycle of poor oxygen exchange. Many seniors mistake this for normal aging or think it's just fatigue, not realizing that this breathing pattern is slowly conditioning their body to live with lower oxygen levels and higher stress signals. Even simple activities like talking while slightly hunched, watching television for long stretches, or using mobile devices with the head tilted down encourage this posture and breathing pattern. Because the body follows the path of least resistance, it adapts to the shallow rhythm, reinforcing chest breathing and reducing the natural belly expansion that should happen during healthy inhalation. This daily habit builds gradually, without pain or obvious warning signs, until seniors start experiencing frequent yawning, afternoon energy crashes, nighttime restlessness, and morning grogginess that no amount of sleep seems to fix. It also contributes to tension in the neck and shoulders because the accessory breathing muscles are constantly overworking to lift the rib cage during every breath. As this tension builds, it can subtly restrict airflow even more and create a feedback loop of tightness and fatigue that makes deep breathing feel unnatural or difficult, even though the body is designed to breathe deeply and effortlessly when the diaphragm is active. When shallow breathing becomes the default pattern, it does more than just limit the amount of air reaching the lungs. It disrupts the entire balance of oxygen and carbon dioxide in the blood, which directly impacts sleep quality. Proper deep breathing supplies the brain and muscles with ample oxygen, allowing the body to fully relax, while shallow breathing reduces this supply and keeps the nervous system in a state of low-level alertness. Seniors who breathe mainly from the chest take in smaller, quicker breaths that signal the brain to stay vigilant, triggering the sympathetic nervous system, which is the body's stress response. This stress state keeps heart rate slightly elevated, raises cortisol levels, and makes it difficult for the body to switch into the parasympathetic mode needed for deep, restorative sleep. When oxygen intake is consistently low throughout the day, the brain senses this as a form of mild threat and resists entering the slow wave and REM stages of sleep, which are essential for memory, immune repair, and hormonal balance. At night, this imbalance shows up as restlessness, frequent awakenings, shallow sleep, and difficulty falling back asleep after waking. In many seniors, it also triggers a pattern of nighttime mouth breathing, which dries the throat, increases snoring, and further lowers oxygen saturation in the blood, making sleep fragmented and non-restorative. The lack of oxygen forces the heart to work harder to circulate blood, which can cause subtle spikes in blood pressure during the night, further interrupting the body's natural sleep rhythm. Over time, this creates a cycle where poor breathing leads to poor sleep, and poor sleep further weakens respiratory muscle function, leaving seniors waking up unrefreshed, foggy-headed, and physically drained even after what seems like a full night in bed. This constant disruption of deep sleep stages also interferes with the production of melatonin, the hormone that helps regulate the body's sleep-wake cycle. And without enough melatonin, falling asleep becomes more difficult each night. Because of this, many seniors find themselves becoming dependent on naps during the day, which further confuses the body's internal clock and reduces the drive for deep sleep at night. The body also struggles to lower its core temperature, a necessary part of drifting into deep sleep, because shallow breathing prevents the nervous system from fully relaxing, leaving the body slightly overheated and restless when it should be cooling down and entering its natural sleep cycles. Correcting shallow breathing starts with retraining the body to engage the diaphragm fully, which draws air deep into the lower lungs where oxygen exchange is most efficient and calming signals are sent to the nervous system. One of the simplest ways to do this is practicing intentional diaphragmatic breathing, sometimes called belly breathing, for just a few minutes several times throughout the day. Sitting upright with shoulders relaxed and placing one hand on the chest and one on the belly helps bring awareness to how the breath moves. The goal is to make the belly rise with each inhale while the chest stays mostly still, showing that the diaphragm is doing the work. Inhaling slowly through the nose for 4 or 5 counts and exhaling gently through the mouth for 6 or 7 counts not only strengthens the diaphragm, but also naturally slows the heart rate and lowers blood pressure, preparing the body for better sleep later. Over time, this retrains the nervous system to shift more easily into the parasympathetic state, where rest, digestion, and repair occur, and this shift is what allows deeper, more restful sleep cycles. Seniors can also pair this breathing with gentle posture corrections, like rolling the shoulders back, lifting the chest slightly, and lengthening the spine, which opens up the rib cage and gives the lungs more room to expand fully. Practicing this in the morning after waking, in the afternoon during a break, and especially at night before bed, helps make deep breathing a natural habit instead of an effortful exercise. Another useful technique is pursed lip breathing, which involves inhaling through the nose and exhaling through gently pursed lips, as if blowing out a candle. This keeps airways open longer, improves oxygen exchange, and trains the lungs to empty fully with each breath. Consistency is more important than duration at first, so even 1 or 2 minutes several times a day can begin rebuilding diaphragm strength and resetting the body's breathing pattern. Avoiding slouched positions during the day also reinforces this change because poor posture compresses the lungs and makes it harder for the diaphragm to move down. Choosing supportive chairs, adjusting screen heights to eye level, and standing up every 30 minutes to stretch can gradually reduce the physical barriers to deeper breathing and make the new habit easier to maintain without conscious effort. When seniors begin practicing deeper breathing and correcting shallow patterns, the effects on their overall well-being often appear surprisingly quickly, especially in their energy levels and sleep quality. As more oxygen reaches the bloodstream with each breath, the body can produce ATP, the cellular energy currency, more efficiently, which directly fuels the muscles and brain. This increased oxygen availability reduces the constant low-grade fatigue many seniors experience, replacing it with a sense of lightness and alertness during the day, because the parasympathetic nervous system becomes more active through slow, deep breathing. Heart rate variability improves, which signals the body that it is safe to rest and recover, reducing the chronic stress signals that interfere with restorative sleep. With stress hormones like cortisol beginning to drop, melatonin production can rise naturally in the evening, making it easier to fall asleep without struggle. Seniors often notice that when they adopt a habit of deep breathing before bed, their breathing stays calmer and slower throughout the night, which lowers the number of awakenings and allows longer periods of deep sleep. This uninterrupted rest helps the body repair tissues, strengthen the immune system, and clear waste products from the brain, which supports sharper memory and clearer thinking the next day. More consistent deep sleep also stabilizes blood sugar levels, which can prevent the mid-afternoon crashes and irritability that often lead to unhealthy snacking and disrupted nighttime sleep. Another benefit is the relaxation of muscles in the neck, shoulders, and chest, which often carry tension from years of shallow breathing. Releasing this tension makes it easier to maintain open airways during sleep and can reduce snoring or nighttime breathing pauses. As the breathing muscles become stronger, the effort needed to take each breath decreases, freeing up energy that the body can redirect to other processes like digestion and cellular repair. This improved oxygen flow also supports healthier circulation, allowing more nutrients to reach tissues and speeding the removal of metabolic waste, which contributes to waking up feeling lighter and less stiff. Even short daytime breathing breaks can create bursts of energy and mental clarity, helping seniors stay active and engaged, rather than slipping into the sluggishness that often builds through the afternoon. Over time, this cycle of better breathing leading to deeper sleep and more energy reinforces itself, making it easier to stay consistent with healthy habits and stay active throughout the day. One of the most powerful ways to build trust and motivation for seniors to adopt better breathing habits is by showing that these techniques are backed by medical professionals and have already helped real people in their age group. When a doctor explains how shallow breathing contributes to low oxygen levels, higher stress hormones, and disrupted sleep, it reframes the issue from something vague or optional into something that directly affects long-term health and independence. Hearing a medical expert emphasize that even small daily breathing changes can improve lung function, boost energy, and support heart health helps remove doubts about whether the effort is worthwhile. Seniors are often more willing to try a new routine when they see evidence that it has worked for others like them, especially when those people once struggled with the same issues of breathlessness, fatigue, and poor sleep. Sharing a story of an older adult who began practicing deep breathing for just a few minutes a day and soon noticed easier breathing, fewer nighttime awakenings, and more morning energy creates a clear mental link between the action and the reward. This makes the habit feel not only possible but achievable in their own lives, especially if that person also had common challenges like joint pain, low stamina, or anxiety about sleep. Testimonials that include specific changes, such as being able to walk farther without getting winded or falling asleep faster without medication, give tangible proof that the technique works and offer realistic outcomes that seniors can look forward to. When these stories are paired with reassuring guidance from a trusted authority, it reduces fear of failure and increases confidence that the habit will be safe and beneficial. Doctors can also explain how deep breathing lowers blood pressure and heart rate, which not only supports better sleep, but reduces the risk of heart strain during the night, a concern many seniors carry silently. Seeing measurable improvements, such as lower nighttime blood pressure readings or higher morning oxygen saturation, reinforces the idea that this is more than just a relaxation trick, is a true health practice with real physiological impact. When seniors see that both science and lived experience support the practice, they are more likely to commit to it consistently and view it as an essential part of their nightly routine, rather than an optional exercise they might forget or skip.